in order for us to really understand the recorder, this is where I introduce my colleague, Mr. Bruce Roberts, who will share with me and by extension share with you the recorder. Bruce.
Okay. Thanks, Louis. Most of you at home probably have recorders, probably have them disassembled like this in 3 parts. The first part, the head or the mouthpiece. The second part, the body. And the third part, the tailpiece.
So Bruce, I find that real interesting. What you're saying to me is that a recorder is something that disassembles.
Yes, it does.
Breaks up into parts. Headpiece.
Headpiece.
Tail.
Tail.
Right. And the body.
And the body.
Now, do they have holes on each piece?
Yes, they do. The wider end of the body attaches to the end of the mouthpiece.
Yes.
Yes. The narrow end of the body attaches to the tailpiece. Like this. And when you connect the parts together, try to make sure that the holes along the body and the tailpiece are all lined up together with the air passages of the mouthpiece.
Why do you want that to happen? Why you just can't fit them together anyhow?
So this helps in when you start playing in note precision, accuracy. Because if it's slightly off, your fingering positions will be awkward, and then you would sometimes get inaccurate notes as well.
So let's do that again. Show the right. Let's demonstrate it. Break it up.
Head, or mouthpiece, body, tailpiece. The wider end of the body goes into the end of the mouthpiece. The narrow end of the body goes to the end of the tailpiece. And then try to ensure the holes all line up together.
Wonderful. So when it's all lined up, then it's ready to be played.
It's ready to be played.
But where did this? Tell me something about the recorder.
Well, recorders were invented in Austria a couple of centuries ago. And we also belong to the family of woodwind instruments. The authentic recorders are generally made of wood. Modern day recorders made from plastic. And they come in a variety of different sizes as well. This, for example, this is the soprano recorder. It means it plays the notes in the higher registers. You have other recorders, such as the alto recorder, the tenor recorder, the bass recorder, that play lower notes, and they come in larger sizes as well as you go down the range.
That's interesting. But are they all played the same way? Even if it was a lower range recorder, is the technique of playing the same?
Techniques very similar, similar fingering positions, same woodwind family where you have to blow the instrument to get the sound.
So if you learn to play one recorder, you can be comfortable playing all?
Should be proficient.
Very interesting. But what about those nice colors, man? I see you have a nice fluorescent green one.
This is a modern thing now. Because normally, I mean, when I was at school, they didn't have these fluorescent stuff. You had like plain black recorders, you had plain white recorders, you had cream. But now somebody said, let's get a little more fancy, and fluorescent green, there's fluorescent pink. And
very nice. So how many holes are there on the recorder? If one was to I mean, I'm seeing holes here, but...
Okay. If you look closer at the recorder, you'd see that there are 7 holes along the body of the recorder and the tailpiece. There are 7 holes. And there's 1 hole to the back of the recorder. The hole at the back is for your thumb. The holes at the top for your fingers.
So what you're saying is that in playing the recorder, which hand you use to hold it? Left hand?
Your left hand goes to the top of the recorder.
Right.
Your thumb to the back, and your first 3 fingers of your left hand. Recorder.
Right.
Then the remaining 4 holes for your right hand. But if you look closely at the last 2 holes, the 6th and 7th holes, you'd realize that compared to the other holes on recorders, they're just single holes, but the last 2 holes are doubled.
Why?
Well, these help you to play notes such as C sharp and D sharp. Your left hand goes to the top of the recorder.
Right.
Your thumb to the back, and your first three fingers of your left hand. Recorder.
Right.
Then the remaining four holes for your right hand. But if you look closely at the last two holes, the sixth and seventh holes, you'll realize that compared to the other holes on recorders, they're just single holes, but the last two holes are doubled.
Why?
Well, these help you to play notes such as C sharp and D sharp. Your left hand goes to the top of the recorder.
Right.
Your thumb to the back, and your first three fingers of your left hand. Recorder.
Right.
Then the remaining four holes for your right hand. But if you look closely at the last two holes, the sixth and seventh holes, you'll realize that compared to the other holes on recorders, they're just single holes, but the last two holes are doubled.
Why?
Well, these help you to play notes such as C sharp and D sharp.
So what you're saying is that if you were not to put your fingers on those holes, you would get a natural note.
You would get a normal,
or
yeah.
a whole tone.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put your fingers in those positions,
yeah,
you get a semitone or sharp.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. So, but it's a two-hand instrument.
Yes, yes.
Show me that back piece again, the role of the thumb.
Role of the thumb. Uh-huh.
Why is the thumb so important to block that hole?
Well, like all wind instruments, there is, whether it's a flute, saxophone, clarinet, the thumb plays an important role in that. But for the recorder, that's how you get your octaves in some notes.
Oh, so in playing, the thumb is not just holding
it's not just holding, no, not just a support. It plays a crucial.
It has a function.
In note production
as well. In note production, very interesting. And what about, how do you press on a hole? I mean, do I just put my finger on the hole, just so?
Ah, that's good. Now, when you cover the holes on the recorder, the hole must be completely covered. And to make sure that you're covering the holes properly, when you depress a hole, cover a hole with your fingers, your finger, there should be an impression of the hole on your finger if you take it off. That's when you know you're covering the holes properly. Because if you don't cover the holes properly, you get an accurate tone.
Oh, I see. So what you're saying is that your finger is not pressing lightly. It's actually blocking the passage of the air.
Yes, it is.
Coming through. And if it's not, that does
not
not happen.
Properly, you get an accurate note.
An accurate note.
Yeah. So you get.
Right. So that note you just played was
G.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's hear G. And if you were to not cover it properly, what happens?
You get.
Right. Right. Oh, now I understand. When I hear certain people blowing the instruments and it kind of goes off, it's because they're not fingering properly.
Not fingering properly.
Very useful. So therefore, what we're saying is that if you're not fingering properly, you're not going to get a note with integrity.
Yes, right.
And the tone is going to vary, and it's going to be distorted, or you're going to be off-key.
Off-key.
Right. So off-key is when you're not playing exactly on the note.
That's right.
So it's just like when some people singing in the bathroom.
They're singing up.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Right. Another thing, too, apart from covering your holes properly when you're playing the recorder, is the level of confidence you blow the note with as well. So if your confidence level isn't up to mark, it's kind of half-hearted effort, you're going to get another bad note as well. Another thing, too, is that when you place your recorder to your lips, you don't blow harshly. You blow lightly. So you place it to your lips and blow gently.
So what you're saying is you don't blow anything.
You don't blow into it, because then you get...
Right. Yeah. So there are two ways of getting an inaccurate notes on the recorder.
Well, actually three.
Well, let's take the two we just discussed.
Okay.
The first one is if you don't finger properly and use your fingers to completely block the air passage of that particular hole.
That's right.
Nice. The second one is if you blow in too much, with too much force.
Yes, right.
So the recorder is a gentle instrument.
Very.
One must blow gently and manage the air comfortably.
Right.
Do you place it in your mouth
Not really in your mouth, but just place it to your lips gently. And
So is lipping a part of the technique of playing that instrument?
yes, it has a role in it as well, in playing.
Right. So what we are actually saying is that we are combining the lip with the left hand, the right hand, with the thumb not only holding the instrument, but forming a strong bass.
Part of the note as well.
Right. Each finger being applied
Right.
with a confidence and integrity to hold it there.
Right.
So, and then you have the sight where you have to look at the music that you're going to play.
And then once again, your own level of confidence as you play the note as well. Because if you don't have that level of confidence, when you blow the note, you'd also get inaccuracy as well.
So there are 3 ways of getting an inaccurate sound.
Right.
Bad fingering,
Fingering,
the actual blowing of the instrument,
instrument.
And lipping.
That's right.
And then the confidence
as well.
in which you play. And that's important, because what we really want is to get our students and our musicians out there to develop that panache and that skill and that ability, that music and the instrument is your medium, it's a channel within which you express your talent, and you must love that instrument and let that instrument become an extension of yourself so that that confidence comes out. That's interesting. What else do you want to tell us about the recorder?
That's pretty much basically practically what it's about. The rest is just start learning the notes and you see you go from there.
Now, in learning the notes, I notice right now you're holding all your hands on the instrument. Is that the position that your hand has to be all the time?
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be all the time. This is just me covering all the holes.
Right.
Basically.
So therefore, there are some notes where you will use
different
fingering
fingers
positions.
should move, yeah.